it's pretty cold outside. If you guys don't have, do you guys have a copy of the flyers? Kind of gives you room to take notes and whatnot, and also the copy of the bonus, like I promised, the contractor cheat sheet that I used to get rehab estimates from contractors on the job site instead of waiting for them to put a down to the penny estimates. And that takes too long, and takes up too much time. When if the budget doesn't work, it doesn't work. You don't want to waste their time. But anyway, so if you guys got a chance to take a look at the house, you can see we're down to the studs, and it's definitely requiring a lot of work from start to finish. So what was I gonna say?
It'll take a minute.
Yeah. So before I get started and share with you guys about this house, I want to share with you guys my story and the reason why I got into real estate investing. And I'm pretty sure we can all relate on why we're trying to do this, okay? So I was born and raised in the Philippines, moved to United States in 1997. It was actually in Hawaii, and I was just 13 years old. But I didn't know a single English. I didn't know how to speak English, so hopefully I'm getting better at it, being in front of you guys, all right? And and then I moved to Washington in 2003. The reason is my dad was in the Army, so we moved around quite a bit. And I've been here ever since. I don't know why I didn't go anywhere. But so that's how I got here. And my background is I was a union carpenter for almost 10 years, working for the same company. And I got into real estate investing in 2015, right at the start of 2015. The reason being is because we're all chasing that money, right? We want to make money, and I figured real estate investing was my vehicle to go after. And so that's what I did. And chasing the money is not really the main reason why we're all doing this. The main reason is we want to make that money so we can spend time with our friends and family, right? Whenever and wherever we want, right? And with me getting into the real estate investing, that real estate has definitely shown me that freedom, has given me that taste, and to this day I've acquired 45 deals in less than 3 years. So as you guys, it's pretty amazing. It's been a life-changing opportunity for me. I was able to retire my wife a couple months ago, 6 months ago, and she's now a stay-at-home mom. So it's pretty amazing. And that's the reason I wanna be able to share this story with you guys, because real estate has been amazing. It's been around for many, many years, and we all recognize that. But we got to do it right. It's a risky investment. So, so with that said, that's what my story, and that way we all can relate, and I can tell you exactly about this property. So if you guys have the flyers, I'm gonna go over the numbers for you guys, and if you guys have any questions, feel free to stop me and ask the questions. All right? Okay. So everyone have one of these copy? Okay. So I bought this house for $71,000. Okay. 71,100, and actually, this house was listed for $55,000 on the MLS market. Now, a lot of people come to me and is like, "Hey, TJ, how do you find deals on MLS? I can't find any deals." And it's just a matter of being first. There's deals every single day that's happening, that's being listed. It's just a matter of being there first and having the right connection and having the right network to get to it first. Okay, so it was listed for $55,000, and I actually saw this on the MLS because it alerted me, and I called the agent directly. The agent that listed this property, I called her directly and I said, "Hey, send an offer, $55,000 right now." And she wouldn't do it. And she was like, "No, you have to see this house because this house is a tear down. Like, you don't want to buy this without seeing it." I'm like, "I'm a real estate investor. I know what I'm doing. just please send an offer. And she refused to because she wanted to disclose the property because it was like a double agent type deal. And so I literally, they came on the market a couple months ago, which was, I think it was Labor Day weekend. I think it was Labor Day weekend, I can't remember. But anyways, right before the holiday. And so I ended up driving all the way up here, looking at the property. And then I told her, hey, send an offer. But then she didn't get back to me for a couple days. So now I'm like freaking out. I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna lose out on the deal. And when she got back to me, she was like, oh, I'm very sorry, you know, I totally spaced out on my emails. And then she told me there was already offers stacked up. All right, and so I'm like, really mad. So I said, I'm gonna meet with you right now, come to the property, and I'm gonna buy it. She's like, well, we have offers and we can't backtrack the offers. I'm like, what's the offer right now? Now you owe me something, because like they're not supposed to disclose offers, right? Which I'm not gonna disclose her name. So they're not supposed to disclose offers or other people's offers, but she owed me because I could have bought this property for a lot less. So she told me that the highest offer was $71,000. That's why you can see 100. So I said, offer 71, 100. We signed on the dot today. We literally parked right there, and I said, bring that contract, and I'll sign it on the spot. And there was literally like as many vehicles that you see right now, maybe half of that amount. There was people walking around this property trying to buy as well. There was agents trying to stop her, say, we're gonna send whatever he's offering, we're gonna send more. And I said, too late, I already inked it. And so I got the deal for $71,100. So that's the backstory. It was a work, but you know, you gotta take action. When you see the deal, you gotta take action, right? You gotta go out there and execute. So and that's how I got this property, and it's a pretty amazing deal. So so right after that, what I did is I got it under contract, okay? And then so now the next process is like finding the money, right? Which is what we all, you know, want to know how to do it. So finding the money. I think I only put $1,000 down. Yeah, $1,000 down, and I took her to lunch right down the road. Yeah, I took her to lunch and paid, and I said, we're gonna do some business, okay? And so the next step was finding the funding. And a lot of people get stuck with finding the funding, and you know, that's the next question for a lot of people ask me is, how do I, you know, buy houses without no money, right? Well, you're always gonna need money, but it doesn't have to be yours, right? And that's the benefit of plugging in with the system and a community and always networking like how we're doing right now is, you know, you get to know other people that are investing. Like Ryan, I met through my bandit signs or yellow letters. He called me up, now we're gonna do a deal together. So, you know, you build relationship as you network. And that's a key part of the real estate business, networking, okay? So I've reached out to my network, and actually Jeff here, he's the project manager that's doing this job. So he's handling the whole process from start of the construction to finish. When it's finished, then he's gonna hand it back to me. But so I reached out to him and I said, hey, I got a project I wanna partner up with. What do you think? And he said, okay, numbers look good. Where's the money? So now he mentioned that a friend of his also has a network of investors, and we structured the deal as, you know, you'll manage this project, I'll give you 40%, and then his friend brought in the private investor, right? And we gave her 20% of the equity, and I take 40. So it's 40, 40, and 20, and that's how we structured it. And so that's how we brought in the money. So now we're at the phase of the middle of the construction. You know, we're just gonna keep moving forward. So that's finding the money, and networking is finding your contractors, right? Partnering up with them is the key. And so when we estimated the rehab cost, so it was like $85,000 that we're gonna fix this house up for. Now, anybody have any questions so far?
So that was based on the square footage times $20 per square foot?
that would be
What we did was we just kind of analyzed the project, and we have templates that we use through RealFlow that help us to project what the costs might be, like a real close estimate. Usually you can get within like 10 to 20% of the actual hard cost. And so when we come in the beginning and we're going to make an offer on a house, we'll just run through that sheet and get like a projected cost, and then we kind of go over it and look at it and be like, you know, that's probably going to be a little bit more than 5,000 right there, just based on personal experiences with contractors and stuff. So it does help to have a little bit of knowledge in the business, but it's not necessary, because if you're not good at construction, you can rely on somebody else that you're teamed up with or that's working with you to help you out with those parts. So you don't have to be the most educated about construction, but it's just really a big plus to be in a program like this and know people that you can be like, hey man, I'm not sure what's going on here. Can you help me out? And someone like TJ, you know, 30 houses under his belt, he can be like, oh man, I got you. Let me stop by, buy me lunch. I need that coffee. Put cream in it. And then I'll tell you what you need to know to get your stuff done. You know, so it's a big part to, like he's saying, networking, being a part of a community. If there's something you don't know or you can't figure out, they'll help you. That's so. Back to TJ.
Right on. Thanks, Jeff. So yeah, he's doing pretty awesome. We were hung up for a couple months because the permitting department was a bit of a process, and also blueprints and engineering, you know, moving walls and stuff like that. So purchase price is $71,100. Rehab is $85,000. And
so
then
on the rehab.
What's that?
The rehab cost.
Yep.
That's parts and labor.
That's material and labor.
100% all the way through.
Does that include project management costs as well?
Yes.
As well?
Well,
or is that road
well, the
management
project
40%?
management is equity based.
Equity based.
Yeah,
That's what
it's
I was-
equity based.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
So he's not getting paid for managing until the sale of the property.
These are the contractors or the
Yep.
subs.
So and then just a basic estimate, we estimated a holding cost, which is your monthly payments of $20,000. Now you're because you know we're borrowing the money and we're promising an interest return on it, and so you know just roughly calculating 6 to 8 months of holding costs equals up to $20,000, just a ballpark, and then that's including your insurance, utilities, you know, mortgage payment and whatnot.
Oh, that's your holding
Just
for
to
the
clarify, it's not $20,000 a month.
Yeah,
No, no.
That's your projected holding for the
Overall,
project.
yes. Overall, thank you, Jeff.
You're right.
Okay, so who got your insurance instead of who got your house?
What's that?
Who got the insurance instead?
So I'm insured with first is it Farmers Insurance. Yes.
So your personal?
No, it's they work with real estate investors, and they're familiar with insuring a property like this. Once in a while, they'll have like an inspector that doesn't know or if this is an investment property. So they'll drive by and they'll literally take pictures of the roof and send me a nasty letter saying, we're gonna cancel your insurance because you know your roof is falling apart. And I call my agent and says, who drove that house this week? You know, like, do they know that this house is being fixed up? And so she has to backtrack and, you know, remind them, hey, this is our investor. And so, yes, the house will be fixed up, so you don't need to cancel the insurance, because they're thinking homeowners, right? Your basic homeowners, which you won't be insured for this kind of houses.
So are you insuring for the purchase price or the ARV?
Oh, that's a really good question. So what I do with my how I calculate my amount to insure it for is how much I bought it for, how much am I putting into it in fix up, and what will it cost if this house was to burn down completely down to the ground? What will it cost to rebuild it 100% without putting any money out of my own pocket? So you can kind of project that, you know, value-wise in the neighborhood.
Get the land value out of there and
Yep,
the rest.
exactly. So that's how I would determine the amount to insure it for. And of course, you put your lender's name on your insurance policy as well. Okay.
Probably a safe concept might be 75% of ARV.
Yes, that's what I was actually going to say. About 75%. That's
Correct.
definitely right on the
Land
ballpark
value,
there.
right.
Okay. And so I forgot to mention that the private lender gets the first position deed on the property, and many different ways you can have investors fund your project is you want to educate them on the sources, funding sources like 401ks and IRAs is one of the funding sources we like to go with, because mostly everybody here has either some kind of retirement account or 401k account, right? But a lot of us don't know how to tap into it because we just educated to not touch it, right? Let them handle your money. But with our community and the education community we're a part of, we train lenders or private people to say, hey, did you know you can use your IRAs or 401ks to invest in real estate? And almost immediately they don't know that they can do that. They always think like, oh, I'm gonna get taxed, I'm gonna get penalized, I'm gonna lose, like all this red flags, right? And so you wanna educate them on that aspect so that way you can grow your private lender base, okay? And we all teach that in our community, okay? So first position deed, and so that we got pretty much the majority of the components when it comes to flipping a house is how much you're buying it for, how much you're rehabbing it, and your holding costs. And the last key part is, how much can we sell it for? Because that will determine how much money we'll make on the back end. So ARV for this house is let's see, 275. Okay. Sorry, I got my back on you guys. So in the low end, we're projecting 275K on this house, and then on the high end, if depending on the market and also quality of our finishes, then we can get into the high end. But we always want to calculate on our low end of ARV, because if the numbers make sense on the low end and you sell it on the high end, that difference is just a big bonus for you guys, okay? And that's one of the key things you guys wanted to consider when it comes to running an ARV. Always work off of your lower ARV. That's a safe bet, and you're not losing sleep overnight when the project goes over budget, right? Okay. So anybody here have a calculator real quick? Who wants to be my volunteer?
No one has a smartphone? I got one.
Okay. What's that?
Pulling it up right now.
All right.
6-1.
Got a smartphone with a finger is frozen.
All right.
Okay, so what you want to do is you want to do, oh, actually, hang on. I'm missing one more component is when it comes to selling a house, based on my track record and the amount of properties I've sold, is anywhere from 7 to 10% of ARV is going to be your closing costs. That's your agent commissions, your taxes, and taxes and insurance, yeah. So 9% is a safe number to work with. Closing. So here's closing. It's
Off the ARV?
Yep, off the ARV.
35?
Okay.
So you do 275,000. Right off the bat, you want to take off closing costs, 9%.
Take off closing costs?
Yep, 9%.
Okay, 24,750
24,750.
off of 275.
Yep. Okay. And then you wanna just go down the line. You wanna take off 71,100, 85,000, and 20,000.
Answer is just
74,250.
74,250.
Off of the 275.
Off of the 275. So as you can see, $75,000 profit, and all you have to do is connect the dots. But in order for you to connect those dots, you got to be able to network with many different investors. You gotta find your lenders, you gotta find your project managers, right? You gotta have a pretty strong team to put this all together. You know, it's easy to make $75,000 if you have all that, right? And I've definitely utilized my resources to get to where I'm at now, but I had to plug into a system, right? You have to plug into a community. You have to network. Because if you're just operating solo and you're not growing your network base, you're doing everything. You're gonna be doing the rehab, you're gonna be doing the estimate, you're gonna be out there finding your private lenders. I mean, we all have 24 hours in a day, and we want to be able to leverage that time, right? And reach out to everybody else, plug into a community. So we'll make $75,000 on the 275 ARV. Who would like to make that kind of money? Yeah, definitely.
TJ, so that's 75, and then that's split between you,
Yep.
the contractor too.
So he gets 40%, I get
40%,
40%.
and then
The money person.
the person you just walked up and said, "Here, take
Yep,
some money."
here's the
20
money.
for
That person gets the 20%, but keep in mind too that 20,000 holding cost is that private money. The actual person that had the physical money, that person's getting their return out of that 20. So it's already been calculated for, right? Does that make sense to everybody?
So are you saying the private money gets their rate plus the 20%?
No, the
No.
private money just get their percentage rate, the 12%.
I guess what he's saying is our partner that's taken the 20% for private money,
Found-
it's not her money.
It's not
she
her
went
money.
out and found
She
it
went sourced
and
out that
then
money as well.
Put it
Okay.
into our project. She said, I recommend that you guys invest in this project, you know, because I know these two guys and they're successful
Yes.
and they've got it going.
Yep.
And then I also want to remind everyone that TJ and I were doing our own thing separately. One day, TJ reached out, stopped by my job site. We became friends. And then over the course of 6 months to a year, stopping in every 2 months, being like, what are you working on now? Where's your other project? Oh, I'll stop by there next week. And now we are officially business partners in a deal going forward. And that's how it works. When someone comes to your job site and says, hey, you know, this is really cool what you guys got going on. Yeah, I'm starting up too. I got a little project over here. That's the kind of people that you want to be grabbing onto and becoming friends with, because they're going to say like, oh my gosh, I found a roofer that's doing it for half the price. And you're going to be like, really? Where is he?
Yeah.
I can't even find a roofer to come out and look at it. And
Yeah,
that's where
exactly.
the magic of networking will really make your business.
Yep.
And if you do not reach out to every single person you meet and see and say, hello, come and be my friend, let's have lunch and talk about this, you're not going to get to that level of success quite as fast. It's really like TJ has all these network sayings. What are they, TJ? Give it to us.
So,
Your
okay,
net worth
so-
is your network.
Yeah. So we have a community base that comes together every Tuesday in Tacoma, and what we do is we introduce you to the real estate investing. We introduce you to the educational system that we plug into to learn all this process, learn how to analyze the deals, where to find the money, how to structure an entity properly, how to educate average people about their IRAs and 401ks, right? And that's the community we plug in every Tuesday in Tacoma. And if you guys are interested, we'll give you more information about that. And of course, it's an investment, but we can't move forward, start doing projects if you're not educated, if you don't have a community, or if you don't have a support system to guide you through. You're gonna make a lot of mistakes, and I've seen a lot of people lose money, including me when I was starting out. I'm gonna be honest with you. I lost some profits on some of my deals because I was just starting out. But now I can literally be more confident and send an offer without seeing the house in person, right? Because I have a community base, I have a network, I have an educational system that I tap into and constantly plug in. And so that way I gain a lot of confidence. So just going down the list, I just wanted to make sure I covered all the topic. Yes.
This is what, about a 1,200 square foot house?
Yes.
Exactly, 1279.
Okay, so you estimated 85,000, taking it down to the studs, basically wiping it clean and rebuilding.
Yep.
Is that about normal? If you saw something else, it's 1,200 square feet.
Mhm.
At the high end, would you allocate 85 for a rehab, including roof and stuff?
This is extreme compared to average
Yeah.
stuff.
So this
We're-
is higher
we're
than
totally
normal.
at a way higher level. We're gonna have brand new plumbing throughout. We're gonna have brand new electrical throughout, brand new sheetrock insulation, new roof.
Yep.
We had to repair rotten wood in the windows in here because the old roof was leaking. We've done a lot of extreme stuff that probably, I would say, at least 75% of your rehabs will not be anywhere close to this level.
So it'll be less than 85 for 80% of them.
Yeah, so,
Yes.
yeah,
Oh,
so,
definitely.
like, it's a case-by-case situation when it comes to, calculating rehab, and it's not always, some people, like, come to me like, oh, is it, X amount of dollar per square foot? It's like, not necessarily, because if you're working off of that formula and you live by it, you're gonna screw up big time.
Well-
Because every house is gonna be different finishes, different amount of, fixes that you need to do to it, whether it be drywalls, electrical, plumbing, or a brand new kitchen. Some of us, if we come across to a house that the kitchen or the cabinets can be saved, we literally just, refurbish it, put new hinges on it, paint it, make it look good. And at the same time, that decision also, because of the market, what it can support, right?
The reason for my question was if you're bidding on a house and you just want a quick and dirty,
Mhm.
kind of
Yep.
deal to where will this support the numbers or not?
Yep.
If you look at the high end, it can only get better, right?
Yep.
So.
One thing
that's
to
what it's-
realize, like doing deals, every deal is completely 100% an individual and different from the last deal. A previous deal that I did with another partner, we only invested $30,000 into our rehab, and we got a return of like 85, and that was our net return. And so it's like, this one right here, we're 71 and 85, and, we're making the same return with $85,000 investment. So you can't really just go out into the market and think, okay, I'm gonna spend this much of a percentage on my rehab, whatever you're doing, because sometimes the numbers will support you to make the minimal investment of $20,000 and just off it
Yeah.
for maybe $30,000 or $40,000 lesser than the ARV could be if you took it to a higher level. So you really have to analyze it from a lot of different directions, and that's where working with someone like TJ that has experience and been through 30 flips, he can be like, you know what, bro? Don't put the whole 75 into this. Just go 40,000 into this, do this, this, and this, and move on. And so that's like a fine line that you can only really learn through experience. And when you're in the network, you can use the experience of the people around you that are saying, hey, come, what do you got, any questions, what do you need? TJ is a great person to say, oh, bro. I mean, every time, he's been in it a little bit longer than me, and a lot of times he'll be like, oh, Jeff, don't even worry about that. Let's skip that and just go straight to here, and we're done. And I'll be
Yeah.
like, oh, yeah, okay.
That's good. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so just remember, everything's an individual situation, and you can't
Yeah.
really run with one specific formula to know what you're
Next
gonna
question.
do.
Yeah,
So the finishes in here, I don't think, just looking at the neighborhood, you're not gonna do like marble, granite.
Yes, we are.
Or you
So
are.
we're gonna go with our standard finishes. Your white shaker cabinets, stainless steel appliances, maybe granite or quartz countertops,
quartz.
and all that is already calculated into the rehab priced out. And we're not gonna veer off too much of that. We can't put a $1 million finish in Bremerton if it doesn't sell $1 million, right? So that's how we can kind of determine the finishes.
Does the rehab include the garage in the back there?
Yes, the rehab,
and
yes,
all that?
yes, cool. Yep, that's all including the windows.
Are you rehabbing the garage as well?
The garage is only gonna get, we're not gonna finish the inside, we're just gonna get new garage door, paint obviously, and then
Facelift.
a new roof. So it's just a facelift,
Nice,
yeah.
that's good.
Because the bone is pretty solid, so. Okay, so once you're all completed, finishing up the house, the next question is the selling part, right? So the selling part is very important because that's where you get paid. So some people come to me and ask me, TJ, what do you do with your houses? Like, do you stage it? Do you not? How do you determine that? And then also, like, do you sell it yourself or do you hire an agent? And I always say is, leave the professional works to the professional. Okay, pay that agent commission, list it, because another thing you're doing is you're building a relationship, because you don't know who that agent knows that may be your private lender in the future. So always list it professionally. Professional photos, staging is always recommended. I mean, of course, if the budget, if you have room for the expenses, okay. But I dedicate all the expenses are calculated into my my costs. So that's selling it part, and then.
Part of your rehab costs in there then?
The staging and stuff?
Yes. Well, that rehab, it's actually just an outside expense. That's not really calculated into the rehab. I don't anyway.
It's in the holding cost is the staging.
Is it in the holding cost? So yeah. So if it's already calculating the holding cost, yeah. And it's not too much. I mean, it's $250 for photos, and then your staging is probably another. My stager charges me $900 for staging, and that's till the house sells. And that's a good price. I don't know how much you guys are getting charged.
That's a good price.
$900 for staging.
Also,
I mean,
works with the financing company. You know, we found a lot of people in this industry have multiple businesses. They'll be, I do this, and I do this,
Yeah.
and I do this. And so paying attention to that, you know, you're working with someone doing this all day, and you're getting this for way too high of a price, and you're like, oh, you did that too? Now you're getting 30% discount on something because you got two businesses going with one person. So pay attention to what everyone in the industry is doing around you, and you'll be like, oh, that's just a real estate person. Oh, wait,
Yeah.
you guys do this and you do that, you know? And
Yeah, so you always just wanna and another thing, everything goes back to networking. All right, going back to the networking and going back to your community that you plug into, because they know people that you don't know that will be able to help you in your business. Okay, so that's pretty much the whole process, you guys, from start to finish. Like I promised, I'm gonna show you from start to finish on how to flip houses. But before you guys start going out there and start buying and sending offers to buy houses, you want to plug into our community, and I want to. Yeah, Tom?
Are you going to show us your house again when it's done?
Yeah, definitely. So once we're all finished up, staged, on the market, it would be amazing if every single one of you guys can come back here and take a look at the finish. It gives you a pretty big picture on the whole thing, okay? So, any other questions?
When's your expected finish?
6 to 8.
we're probably on the outside, I would say 60 days. Somewhere between 30 and 60 days is what our anticipation is of completion.
Yeah.
Ready by Christmas?
Very possibly,
Yeah.
maybe. Yeah.
So yeah, on rehabs, I typically calculate for a job like this size, I would put in 3 months just to be safe on your holding cost budget, and then for my basic remodel facelift, you know, you got your paint, your carpet, your appliances, bathrooms, maybe a roof and windows. That's not to the studs. I would allocate about 2 months. Should be plenty enough to get it done with the right contractor. Okay, and of course, the longer it drags on, obviously, it won't make sense to the contractor making their money, right? They make less money the longer it takes. So, with our community, we do it just like I said. We do it every Tuesday, and we'll show you how to get started on real estate investing.
Do you have like a digital bulletin board, or do I go to my sponsor and say, hey, I got this, I just got a house,
Awesome.
I need help, I need
Yeah.
financing, I need this.
Great question. So, yeah, once you get started with us, you're literally not alone. You're not by yourself, because we have a community. We're a nationwide community where you can be finding a house in a different state, and you can call our team there and plug in, and they can walk you through their network and be able to help you out. So yes, we plug into our community, our network, and whoever invited you guys to be here today, get back to that person and find out more information about the Tuesday meeting. We also have a Thursday meeting in Seattle. You know, we have, just like I said, we're in different cities, and actually there's another property tour happening right now in Seattle.
Just finished.
So yeah, so if you guys have network in Seattle or anywhere right now, we're expanding too. We're expanding rapidly, and so the more people we have in our community, the easier it gets for us when it comes to, you know, when you have questions on how to do flips to the studs. You know, you can now tap into me and my network to get a project done like this without you feeling all, scared
Overwhelmed.
and overwhelmed. Yes.
Yeah, to
So,
answer- I'm sorry.
yes.
To answer your question, you can go to just about anybody in the group, and you might have to start with the person that brought you in, and if they can't get the answer, they probably know who can get the answer. Directly there.
And I just wanted to say too, just out of personal experience, as you go into this business, even if the first project that you are gonna do ends up being a year from now, 18 months, today is a great day to meet your roofing contractor, your siding contractor, and any person that you might work with 18 months from now when you start your project. It is never too early to meet people, to shake hands, and to learn more about the business and everyone that you're gonna be working with. And it's when you start your project, you're like, okay, I got my project, now I'm gonna look for somebody. Well, you should have already had those people 6 months ago and you should be talking to them 3 months before you buy, going, I got a project, I'm gonna be coming up in 3 months. Are you gonna be around for me? And finding out where you're at with people and what their business is doing, because it's like if you're just holding back going, okay, I don't gotta do nothing until I buy it, now I've bought it, now you're under the gun. And you've got a timeline running, and you're like, I don't even know who I'm gonna talk to for this.
Yeah.
So
So
right
that's-
now,
yeah.
today, even if you are not even gonna be starting your business for a year, today is a great time to start that network and make those connections and get your contractor list going, get all of your connection lists going as far as who you're
Yeah.
gonna work with.
That's why it's awesome always to network. Always goes back to networking, guys. So just to clarify everything, does anybody else have any questions? Little lost, or if you have something that you're looking into, anybody? Questions? Oh, seeing the numbers, yeah. Yeah.
How does the bidding war go? So like, there's a property that came on the market Thursday night and we went for 125 and the realtor called me, you need to put an offer on this. I'm like,
Yeah. So
okay, but I didn't get to see the property until the next morning, and then there was already an offer. She
Right.
said, it's gonna be a bidding war. I'm like, well, I didn't even make an offer. How's there a bidding war? I'm so confused.
yeah. So the bidding war is just, I mean, it's all emotion driven, really, because the market is so hot and everybody's desperate for finding deals, right? But so when somebody submits an offer and the opposing agent or the listing agent don't typically disclose that, so they come back to you and say, hey, give me your highest and best. And then they'll tell you, well, we have an over asking offer right now on the table. So they want you to come up with your own number, and that's going back to emotional driven offer, in which you don't.
But the seller has to decide he doesn't want the first offer?
No,
He-
someone said, what they can sometimes do is say, on this date, we'll open the offers for sale.
Yeah, so sometimes there's a deadline on when they're gonna review all the offers, and they'll take the highest and best. Okay?
Not always the highest, sometimes they'll take a cash offer over something else.
Are you executing escalation clauses?
Yes, good question. Yeah, so when I submit my offers, I always put in clause. So if it's a hot property and you know it's undervalued when it's listed, so what I do, I'll send in asking offer or just a little bit offer, and then I'll add in an escalation clause, which is an incremental bid, automatic incremental bid, up to the highest amount that I put in. And then you can also determine how high do you want your incremental bid to step. You can do $100, $50, $1,000, whatever it may be.
Previous bid?
Off the whoever bids next.
Gotcha,
Yeah. So it works similar to like online, like eBay. You know, you're constantly bidding, but you can on eBay you can submit your highest bid, and then it'll just keep climbing up until you reach your max. So that's another strategy. Thank you, Rob.
But
To
every next
implement.
highest bid, your bid automatically goes $100 higher.
That's depending on what you set it to. Yes, because you can adjust that. So, that's a really good question. Thank you, Rob. Yeah.
Have you ever done any auctions?
Yes. Which type?
How does that work out for you? I mean,
Like foreclosure auctions?
yeah.
Yeah. So I'll cover this topic. So the auctions is Rob here is actually, this is how we met. Rob Thornton here. He's an auction rep down at the Pierce County courthouse steps. So if anybody, so we have a pretty good network. So you can have an agent represent you to do the bidding for you. They'll do the due diligence for you for a fee exchange, right? So they'll do all the background check. They'll make sure the title is clean. Not make sure, but they'll tell you if it's clean or not, and then they'll advise you to whether buy it or not, right? And then they can also give you a market analysis and also how much you can sell it for, and then they'll give you their rough numbers to where you should buy it at and how much you could sell it for. Does that make sense, Rob? Mm-hmm. Yep. So I bought a lot of.
And provide the hard money. And provide the hard money.
And provide the hard money. So the agent that's going to represent you at the auction can provide you the funding to buy it, which is a hard money funding. Which
You have to come up with what percent? I have personally.
Usually, for me, usually 20% down.
yeah. So courthouse steps. You can reach out to our community. I bought a lot of houses in courthouse. That's actually where I got started, is courthouse steps, because I literally just went up there and started talking to everybody. Just talk, ask a lot of questions, and then, yep, and collect their cards, their business cards, and then make sure to follow up and ask them more questions. And then that's how I got started, buying auction houses. Does that answer your question? Yeah. Awesome. Yep.
But you started buying auction houses with your own money?
A little bit of my own money, because that's where my belief was, is, I been able to get into real estate investing, I had to bring money to the table. He's cut out.
Don't worry.
So that was my personal belief starting out, was to have all this money to start investing and all this, and then I tapped into a community to where they're like, hey, you don't need your own money. All you have to do is network and find other people that has IRAs and 401ks, and then you can educate them on how to use it. So now that's what my number one source is. You don't have to have your own money. Yep.
But yes, 20% though, you're using people's other IRAs? Sorry?
You can.
Somebody else may use that.
Private money,
You can.
Okay.
Typically, you
Okay.
can use your money.
Somewhere out there's a millionaire that wants to loan you money at 12%. You just gotta find them.
You just gotta find them.
They're everywhere.
Exactly. You just gotta find them. So,
My husband has a millionaire buddy.
Ask him if he wants to make 12% on his money. Have better talk about it.
yeah. So see what I'm
Not a
saying?
hard
So
sell.
So the more you surround yourself with this type of people, the conversation comes up, and different ideas and strategies get bring up to the table, and you just kind of work off of that.
Right now we got a 20-person brainstorm going on, so find out what you need to know.
Yeah. So okay. So any other questions, you guys?
When's the heat gonna be on?
We're working on that.
In your car. Your car turns on. So okay.
The finished one it'll be on, right?
Yeah, the finished one will have heat. So
Cool.
I don't want to keep you guys here too long. So I want to keep moving. So our educational programs, we call it an EPIC solution. What it is EPIC is E for education. So we tap into an educational system and to learn the whole process on doing how to invest in real estate investing. So it's not just one specific niche. If you go down to take a look at your packet, everybody's got a packet, right? So if you go in the last page, you can see a list of strategies and different niches in the real estate investing world. So this in particular is going to be this is a rehab. I mean, a fix and flip is like your basic paint, carpet, kitchen, and bathroom. Rehab is like down to the studs, and you're moving and adding walls, and you're doing roof and windows. Okay. So as you can see in that list, there's many different strategies you can get into real estate investing. So you don't have to, get stuck with fix and flip. You can do buy and hold. You can do seller finance note. Next week, actually, we're gonna be in Seattle. We're gonna have the number 4 top note buyer in the nation. That's gonna be flying in and educating us on how to invest in notes. So what that is the paper side of mortgage. So your banks, when you buy a house or have a mortgage, the bank holds the note, right? And then the bank have the free will to pass that note around or to sell it to other investors. And this guy that's going to be flying in next week, right? Saturday, Jeff Armstrong is going to be covering that topic for 8 hours on Saturday. Okay, so you guys are going to get a lot of value. For those of you that have been to, like Luke, been to one of the Saturday events, it was a different topic, which was credit business building. And I mean, what did you think of that, Luke?
Notes for days, man.
Yeah.
I learned a ton.
Yeah, so Luke showed up in that one event, and it was a very valuable information that you can apply into your real estate investing business. And so that's just one of many that flies into our town that educates us in many different strategies in real estate investing. Okay, so just like I said, get back to the person that invited you guys. If you guys want to join that meeting next Saturday, it's going to be from 9 a.m. to 4.
Yes.
9 to 4. So you guys are going to get a lot of value when it comes to note flipping. And just to kind of elaborate on that is the paper side of investing. So the banks can have the mortgage and they can sell that off to anybody they want, right? Anybody that wants to buy it. So you'll then own a house without even seeing it. You're just going off of the papers and the numbers and the credibility of the loan holder, right? The mortgage holder, right? So that's, yeah. So
these are
it's
non-performing loans then? No.
well, that's not non-performing, but discounted, investments.
Come on Saturday.
Yeah.
It's going to be a fantastic.
There's going to be a lot.
Fantastic training.
Yeah. So as you guys can see, there's a lot of different strategies in this list. I don't want to take all day because we'll be frozen by then. But this is one. I'm doing the fix and flip because that's where I'm comfortable with, and you guys can find your niche in the real estate and see which one you're gonna be passionate about. Okay, but you gotta come in. So that's what's that?
Rehabbing one, not fix and flip one.
Yeah, this is the rehab. Yeah. So that's the epic, the E on the epic solution in our education system. So the next one is property. So the education will train you how to acquire properties, whether it be residential, commercial, or office spaces, storage spaces. We cover all that topic. So that's the property side on our education, and then income. While you're doing all this fix and flip and real estate investing, you're going to generate income, and you're going to be able to cycle that through your real estate business. Okay, and then the C on the Epic solution is our community. The community is very, very, it's your most valuable asset, because the bigger your community, the more people you can tap into, the more experts you can reach out to, that we have. Okay, so that's the Epic solution that we have every Tuesday. Come join us and we'll educate you on how to get started in real estate investing. Get back to the person that invited you here today and let them know how awesome it was. Yeah. All right? Thank you guys. Thank you. And then I want to take a little bit of time to cover the quick rehab estimate that I handed out to you guys. So I use this spreadsheet, like I was explaining earlier to some of you, that this is a quick and dirty bid estimate. So you can literally make copies of this, right? You can bring, like on my other property right down the road, I brought in like 3 different contractors all at the same time, right? So some people that might be uncomfortable, but hey, this is business. And when you bring in other competition on the spot, if they want the job, they're gonna give you the best price, right? They're gonna pull your strings around and say, here, it's gonna cost you this much. Well, you got another contractor right next to you, and you're gonna go, hey, how much would you charge me for this roof? He's just said 20. It's like, oh, he's gonna look at him funny, right? So, quick rehab estimate is very useful. So what it is just a general scope of work. So I have here on the top, roof and gutters. So you can have the contractors look at the roof, look at the gutters, and go, no, I'll charge you this much. You can write it down. And then you go down the list, and then right before they go home, right, now you have a general idea how much your total is, right? So then you can go back to the contractor right on the spot and say, hey, you're within my budget. Let's speak, tighter numbers. Then you can really utilize your time. But if the contractor is like $20,000, $30,000 above your rehab budget, there's no reason to talk about anything else besides, hey, you're too high, thanks for your time. You know, I'll call you next time and maybe you can give me a better estimate, right? Does that make sense to everybody?
So the contractor is gonna give you all these things, he's just gonna give you a bottom line number, right?
Yeah, so you can see it's itemized. So an experienced contractor should be able to give you an eyeball and look at the, like, roof and gutters, for example. Like for me, I'm just a union carpenter. I can, you know, go look at the roof and go, yeah, based on the price per square foot or what would that call? Squares.
Yeah,
That's ongoing on the market. That's about this much, and it should be about $10,000. Then the contractor can go, yeah, that sounds about right. Okay, $10,000. And then you go down the list. A full kitchen. They should know what goes into the kitchen. You got your cabinets, your trims, your hardware, your appliances, your granite countertops, your flooring if that needs to be added on there. Yeah, they can get the ballpark in their mind because they're experienced contractor, right?
For instance, my roofing contractor, he says, okay, Jeff, if you've got a roof that is in the shape of new construction, you know, like clean plywood, ready to be roofed, I can do any roof that's not extremely steep for $240 a square foot. So go out into your world, any roofing you need done, figure out your square footages, and just think $240 a square foot, I'm gonna come and handle it for you, and that includes hauling it away. So all of your contractors will have a concept like that about what they do. They can say, well, anytime you're gonna remodel a kitchen, it's gonna be approximately $10,000 or something like that. So always realize that there are numbers out there that you can kind of use in your program to know where you're at, and you just got to talk to the people you're going to work with and ask them what those numbers are and how it works.
Yeah, our system, and part of our education system also, we have a software that can provide all this for you. Like, this is just the quick and dirty, but we have a software that, Renatus iOS, that also can provide you a pretty well breakdown detail on how much things should cost. And you can cross-reference this to Home Depots. You can just sit there and just shop around, you know, how much does it cost for a square of shingles or cabinets or hardware, whatever it is. And then you can kind of compile all those expenses, and then, you know, that will, you know, give you a general idea how much a package is, which is when I put it on here, I just package it all together because that's in that topic of things that needs to be done, right? Does that make sense? So, very valuable. Hope you guys use it. And, you know, if you guys have any more questions, please reach out to me or anybody that invited you guys here today. So, any other questions, you guys?
Where's your washer dryer going in the evening?
We have a washer and dryer stack closet going right back here by this door that we're adding in. The square footage was very limited, and so we're just like, gosh, where could we put it? We didn't want to throw it out in the garage.